Hello, good people, and welcome to Conversations with Kalekye. My name is Kalekye Mumo, and this is where love finds a voice. I'm so excited because we've had an extremely awesome year listening to great conversations on parental trauma and dating relationships. And as we bring it to a close, because the year is ending, what a finer time than to bring some conversation that actually helps you figure out how to heal and prepare for 2026. Now, our last episode, we featured Coach Corey Bashia, and she was so vulnerable to open up about what life was like for her that made her formulate the idea that she has to be this very strong, independent woman and protect everything that she makes with everything she has, because she had viewed what her father had done to her mother, and it caused a trauma that for long she did not know how to break. Now, if you missed that episode, please do catch up on all our platforms, Conversations with Kalekye, YouTube, AfriPod, Spotify. Make sure you don't miss a beat, because there's so much value in listening to somebody else's story, and that's where you get to learn how you too can improve something that you may be going through that is similar. So, like I said, we're privileged because this particular episode is supposed to ground us and heal us and help us figure out what we can do to become better at love, relationships, and work on our parental trauma so that every time it creeps up, we know exactly what to do. So, when I was thinking about who to host on this show, I actually stumbled on this particular coach and therapist on the socials. I was just scrolling and I'm asking God, who are we going to host? What are we going to do? But she is one of those people who has worked on her own parental trauma to the point where she decided, this is what I'm going to study. I'm going to go and get certified. And she is a certified emotional wellness coach and therapist from the Center of Healing Australia. She has a master's in counseling, so don't think that I brought you someone who doesn't actually know and hasn't studied for it. She has. And through her organization, the Soul Clinic, she creates spaces for women to heal emotional wounds, break painful cycles, and step into wholeness. So we are in absolute good company. She is also an author. Her book, Hidden Abuse, is really powerful. It has helped women who have endured emotional pain in relationships. And beyond her calling, she is a mother of two amazing young men who she says are her whole heart. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here. Welcome, Ruth Waithira. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Kalekye. It's an honor to be hosted by you over here, as we have this amazing conversation around parental wounding.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm happy you're here. You know, a lot of times when people think about coaches, they think, you guys, you don't have experience. You don't know what I'm talking about. But something tells me your story is a little bit different when it comes to parental trauma. So maybe you can start by walking us through what your journey was like by the time you decided this is your calling.
Okay. So thank you very much for that question. My journey around parental woundings comes from my own experiences and also the work that I have done with clients over the years in therapeutic spaces. I am one of those children that were not fathered. I grew up without a father. My father was absent from my life. I have an early collection, like when I was 2.5 years old. That's the last time I saw him. And then he disappeared. And I moved on with life. I didn't think that absence had such an impact on my identity, who I am as a person. Until now I was grown and I was doing life. And then I realized I have this pattern of relationships where I show up in relationships that require me to overfunction, overgive, endure abuse, relationships that really don't honor me. And when I realized it's a pattern, the psychologist in me now kicked in. I'm like, I want to understand.
Why?
How did I get here? I thought I'm strong. I know my esteem is high up there. I thought.
And you're educated,
Exactly. I'm educated. I'm a go-getter. I'm a strong woman. So how am I finding myself in this space? And now that is what led me to understand about the impact of parental wounding. So I started doing my own healing journey. And then was when I realized I had such a strong father wound, what we call a father wounding, out of the absence of my father from my life.
So how was that father wound showing up? Because of course there's somebody else who's saying, okay, I don't have my dad in my life. What will happen to me, or what will I do? Because we have a couple of young viewers who do watch this episode.
Yeah. One of the things I normally see, a parental wound can go around unnoticed where you are functioning properly. The two spaces where it's unforgiving is in parenting and relationships mainly.
Yeah, dating now.
Yes, dating.
And marriage and all that.
Dating and marriage and those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
In those spaces, it's likely going to just come out glaring. Though it can also show up in other spaces. Even at work, the imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah. It actually comes from parental trauma.
Yes, it comes from parental trauma. Because I normally say, imposter syndrome is normally a disease. It's like a disease, but now disease of self.
Wow, I like that. So you're not
self.
You're not easy with where you are.
You are not at ease with who you are.
Okay.
Disease of self normally shows in what we call shame-based identities.
Right.
Shame-based identity tells you there's something fundamentally wrong with you.
And
like at the very
you believe.
Yes, and you believe. At the very core of your being, there's something fundamentally wrong with you. Now, the tricky bit is, those core beliefs, because they are normally core beliefs, they are not mainly on your rational mind. And that's why it becomes a challenge, especially for intelligent people, because I'm like, I said, I don't want a relationship that looks like my parents, for example. My mother went through hell. I am not going to do that. My father was this kind of a man. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I know that rationally, but now when I look at the patterns of what I'm attracting,
you are in it.
I'm in it. So how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's because those core beliefs are normally stored in what we call the subconscious mind.
Okay.
And the subconscious mind makes 90% of our decisions.
Hey, I think I need a subconscious mind.
Yes.
Kalekye, your subconscious mind is the problem.
Yes. So if you don't know what core beliefs lie in the subconscious mind, then you'll have outcomes that you're unhappy about and you don't know what to do about them.
My goodness.
Yes.
Ruth, hey, I want to ask the producers, I think we need even more time. We've just begun. We've only just begun. But when I'm now thinking about half the people who've walked through these doors and into this podcast, we've had people who've struggled with abandonment, like you've mentioned. We've had people who've gone through abuse, loss, or growing up in hostile family dynamics.
Yes.
And so do these people actually get to know that it's that experience as a child that brings the trauma? Ama it's a tough upbringing? Because, we had a lot of responses even from our audience saying, why are you guys bringing people to bash their mothers? It was just tough upbringing. And, that's Africans. We like to think you cannot say anything bad about your mother, So how does that person now understand this is actually trauma and not just an upbringing that was tough?
And I've heard that statement a lot, so I understand. People are thinking, okay, why are we bringing problems?
Yes.
Where there are no problems, actually. Because that's how we were all parented and we turned out right.
Yeah.
We don't dispute that.
You don't look like you have the problem.
I don't look like I have a problem. So what is this that you're talking about?
Yeah.
But this is what I tell people. Look at the outcomes you're having in your life. Let's not argue of what this experience, that experience. But look at the outcomes you're having. Are you happy with the outcomes? Because this is what differentiates what you're calling tough upbringing and where now we bring in childhood trauma and parental wounding. Look at the experiences that you went through as a child.
Yeah.
Did those experiences make you feel unseen, unheard, unloved, invalidated, compared to, less than, controlled, isolated?
Wow.
That is what will tell you whether what you actually went through
was trauma
or
just
not.
Tough upbringing.
Exactly. Were you overly anxious, walking around eggshells, feeling overwhelmed, ignored, unseen? That is what will tell you whether what you went through was actually childhood trauma. Did you grow up in a space where your expressions were not allowed?
Yeah, you were muted.
You were muted. The people around you did not have capacity, because that's how I love to look at it. That's an empowering way of looking at it. They didn't have capacity to embrace you and all your expressions. For example, the common one, wacha kulia, ama nikupatie sababu ya kulia, ama nitakuchapa.
Ndio sasa ulie.
Ndio ulie.
Kwa sababu nimekuchapa.
Exactly. What does that tell you about pain and frustration?
That I should
anger?
hold it back.
Hold it back.
Never express myself even if I'm feeling how much pain.
Even if how much pain I'm feeling, I can't talk about it because that kind of an expression is not welcome. The moment I'm expressing that, then I'm unacceptable, I'm unloved.
And society will never accept me.
Society will not accept me.
It's so amazing that things that people have carried on and saying, this is the way to bring up children. And it's actually a traumatic way of growing. And I mean, I also think most of our parents went through this and no one was there to study it or tell them. And so therefore they passed on what they had.
They
been
give you what
taught.
they knew. You can only give what you have. So what they gave you is what they had. And that's why it's important that we have these conversations.
Yeah.
So that the generational traumas that
broken.
we normally pass from generation to generation, they are broken.
Yeah.
So these conversations also, because it's good for the viewer to think about it, these conversations are not blame. We are not here to blame parents. No, we are not here to bash them.
Yeah.
But then there are these patterns that have been dysfunctional. They are affecting how you are showing up in life. You don't want to pass those patterns to the generations, to your children. Yes.
Because again, you've spoken about the pains and things that people take for granted because we assume it's not something welcome. And so this is how life is done. Some of the guests we had talked about how certain behaviors in relationship would trigger some deep emotional reaction. And you've said for yourself, you weren't fathered. Yeah. And so you find yourself in relationships where things were cropping up. And then there's a trigger. Somebody just has to say something that's familiar. I remember in our last episode, our guest, Coach Corey, she mentioned that she happened to be now with the person who she ended up marrying. First, she never thought she'd get married because she was like, men take everything a woman works hard for, because that's what she saw her father do to her mother. And so she saw her father, who was very kind to her, suddenly bashing and almost killing her mother. She was barely 8 years old. So she was old enough to know this is wrong.
Yeah.
And the first thing she told this man, holding a knife to him, they happened to be in the kitchen cooking, and then she told him, let me tell you, the day you raise a hand to me, I'll kill you. The reaction of our audience was like, oh, that's a threat. This man should have run for his life. He's not safe. I mean, they've been married for many years now. But that was a trigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we think about these triggers and where they come from, what's the practical way for me who may be sitting there with either abandonment or made feel that I was muted? Personally, for me, I think I was muted a lot. And I was threatened a lot with, you will get pregnant before you get married. So if I see you with a boy, I'm telling you.
Wow.
It's such a thing so that any man who came to date me, and even today, I don't know how to switch it off. Maybe you can help me. Is I'll be like, what do you want? Where is this going? I want to know now. Are you serious? Because if you think that for 1 minute we're going to be here just kicking and kicking it and having fun.
Making me pregnant.
You've got another thing coming. So I become very strict.
Yes.
And I think this is just because of what I was told.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I made up my mind and said, I will never give my mother the satisfaction of saying, I told you so. So what does Kalekye do? She's like this. You just need to smile at me wrong. I'm thinking, what do you want? Immediately, what do you want? So now people think I'm too harsh, I'm too, but that's something that I don't know how to switch off. So how do I identify that I'm about to be triggered and I switch it off? I mean, and I'm sure there are many different ways, but across, just because I know triggers are the thing that we need to identify, because I can't take the trauma away. It's already happened.
Yes.
So how do I identify it?
You can't take the trauma away. What you need to learn to do is to create a safe space within you.
Okay.
So these are some of the ways in which you know this is me getting triggered. This is a trigger that is showing up. For example, notice the intensity, not just the incident.
Okay.
Like the way we say you are shooting a mosquito with a machine gun.
Instead of a slipper.
Instead of a slipper. So is how you reacted, like proportionate to the incident.
Yeah.
So if you realize you have overreacted, then that tells you it's not just about the situation. There's so much more to it. There could be something that is getting triggered within you that is bringing out that reaction. Because the journey to healing normally starts with awareness.
Yeah.
You need to start getting aware of what your patterns look like.
Okay.
Then the second thing you may need to ask yourself is, okay, now that I know I'm overreacting, what does this thing remind me of? Does it take me back to a space where I felt controlled or fearful, or my mother was shouting at me and I was angry and I didn't know how to do about it? Because that is what will give you like an identification of where this could have originated from. Where did this come from?
Okay.
So check the intensity. How did you react? Ask yourself, what is it reminding you?
Yeah.
And then pay attention to patterns.
Okay.
Not just one incident.
Yeah.
Because it could just, you're having a bad day.
Yeah. Which is also normal.
Which is normal, which is a normal human reaction.
Yeah.
But have you seen like a pattern that so-and-so approached me, this is how I reacted. So-and-so is approaching me, this is how I react. A completely different person, different space, a different day, I'm in a different mental space, and I am reacting the same way. Then that tells you the problem is more than what is presenting here.
Okay.
It's an indicator that there's something that is getting triggered underneath. Okay? Then name the younger part of you that is reacting, because that is going to help you.
Where? The younger part of me?
You that is reacting. Okay. What version of you is this? Is this the 7-year-old girl who is feeling lost? Is this a 7-year-old girl that is feeling threatened? Or the 13-year-old that the mother is really hammering? Yeah, this message about men and pregnancy and how they're going to win your life. Is this part? And then you need to offer compassion to that part of you.
Okay.
Like, girl, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. But the threat we had then is no longer here.
Okay.
This is no longer a threatening situation. This is just a dude.
trying to be nice.
Trying to be nice. And this is just a dude who thinks he likes you and he's trying to be nice and he's trying to...
Yeah. Make his move.
Yes, make his moves and probably even get into a relationship with you.
It is not easy. I know. And I think the most important thing I'm picking from that conversation is that you need to call yourself into those meetings and ask yourself those questions and be honest with yourself. Because a lot of times we don't want to deal. It's almost like if I deal, then I'm also accepting that, oh my God, I have real traumas, you know? But even in that sense, assuming that, and I believe I will still find the man who will be able to deal with my traumas and we will be good.
Yes.
How then can a partner also help the person they are with when they realize these are some of the traumas that you have? I mean, my assumption is that you be close enough to say, this is what triggered me. These are the things that happened in my childhood. And so how would you advise somebody who's in a relationship with, say, a person who has abandonment issues to feel safe, to feel that they will not abandon them, so that they, whenever they see they're about to be triggered, they can also help them? How would you advise that partner?
I think I'll take it a little bit further from where you've started.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that a partner needs to do is communicate how they are experiencing this other person.
Okay.
For example, you said people tell you you're abrasive. Do you know you may have worked with that abrasion for forever and you didn't even know you have it? So in an intimate relationship is where someone can tell you, by the way, Kalekye, when you do this, it's very abrasive, it's forceful, it's unnecessarily forceful. So that feedback is very, very important.
Okay.
Then the moment you communicate that, the next thing you need to learn to do as a partner, and I know this may sound not what people expect, is to learn to set boundaries.
Okay.
Because this person who is getting triggered also needs to understand my behavior is affecting this relationship in this and this way.
Ooh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that is part of healing.
Yeah.
That is part of being, like, you know what? You are,
when you get this way,
when you get this way,
I need to also pull back.
Yes, I know. I'm not going to be here and allow this to harm me. Because that is what healthy love looks like.
Okay.
Then after you've done that, support their healing journey.
Yeah.
If they're seeking for therapy, support them. If you need to pay for them, if you need to take them, do that. But most importantly, become their safe space. Become a safe space. Because trauma heals in safety. Trauma comes as a result of lack of safety.
Yeah.
So the only way to heal trauma is to create a safe space. So if this person requires physical touch,
to feel I'm with
grounded.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am with you here.
Yeah.
There's something we call the regulation of the nervous system. Maybe you need to help this person regulate their nervous system, like giving them a deep, honest hug. Like, come here.
Yeah.
I've got you. And I'm not running away from you, and I'm not.
Yeah.
That's one way. And the other thing is to speak to this person with kindness. Because a lot of homes that we come from were chaotic. Rarely did we experience kindness from it. Either you are being quarreled, somebody is shouting, another person is fighting. So just that ability to have your voice calm, speaking to them with kindness, will really help their nervous system to
calm down. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Because yes, in a lot of homes, in fact, I remember the minute we would hear the hoot at the gate, we just start scattering because we know it's about to go. It doesn't matter whether you guys didn't do anything wrong. Something will be wrong.
Yes.
So scatter before you're found. Itapatikana too, you know.
Yes.
And it's so sad that that's how we were brought up. But anyway, you know, we've seen so many stories where people either become overly dependent, tolerate harmful relationships. And, you know, you never understand why. Why are you in this relationship that this person harms you? You're kind of trapped. You don't want to leave. You say, I know they still love me even though they hurt me. And this kind of emotional abandonment, because I think by the time you are settling for harm or you are in a place where you think I'm the savior. You know, a lot of us have savior mentality. Yeah, right? How can somebody begin to put themselves back into the reality where they actually remember, like you said, to love yourself, to give yourself that, hey, you're important. You don't have to save everyone. You don't. It is not you who has to do this. And this happens especially for firstborn daughters. I know because I'm a firstborn daughter, it's almost like I have 3 older brothers who are way older than me, but somehow, if I don't do it,
fixing them.
If I don't do it, it won't be done. And it is like I'm so exhausted. I tend to think, let me use myself as an example. I tend to think that I just need to be married, I go away so that we see whether they'll survive or not. I know it's not realistic, but that's in my mind. I'm like,
even in your marriage space, you may just find yourself
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but in my mind, I'm like, ngoja niolewe, mtajua. You have to sort yourselves out. You people are older than me. So how does a person like that put themselves back on their own priority list?
First is to be aware. Be aware of your patterns and how they are manifesting. The moment you become aware, the first thing you need to do is to teach yourself to communicate your needs. Communicate your needs first to self. Because sometimes when we say go and communicate, we always imagine having conversations with another person.
True.
That is not always the case.
Okay.
Teach yourself to have conversations with yourself where you're saying, these are my needs, Ruth. These are my needs and I am going to meet them. And then now communicate to other people and bring the expectations that you want them to meet your needs as well.
Okay.
Because that thing of sweeping our needs under the carpet, invalidating everything is harmful. So learn to communicate your needs and have those needs met. Secondly, teach yourself to use your voice.
And do I have a voice like bado sijui kuitumia? What do you mean?
Practice to use your voice. Learn to speak up for yourself. Learn to stand up for yourself. If you are unhappy, if you are dissatisfied, speak.
Do you know the hardest people to tell no is your family?
I know.
Hey, those are the hardest people because it's almost like you're insulting them when you're saying, no, I can't do this. No, I'm not available. Find someone else. And it's like, you never agree to anything I do. And then they become like, my mother becomes violent on this thing until I'm like, wait a minute. What have I done?
Exactly.
I was just saying I'm not available. So in an event where I use my voice,
yes,
I express that this is my position and I get that fiery feedback.
Yeah.
How do I handle it?
You just have to sit back and allow it to simmer, first of all.
Okay.
Because I normally say, if you want to test the health of relationships and the people you are interacting with, whether it be family or whatever, the first thing you need to do is to teach yourself to set boundaries. Boundaries are what tells you whether people are safe or unsafe. Because a safe person may get uncomfortable, like, hey, she's saying a lot of no's, but they will respect it. People who are unsafe really push boundaries. They want to see whether
You'll break.
You'll go back to your boundary and say no and accommodate. So by the time you understand this is the family, this is the relationship.
The dynamic.
The relationship dynamic in my family, then you know you need to set boundaries, because if you don't set boundaries, you'll overgive, you will overstretch, you'll become resentful.
Okay.
So communicate your boundary and hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Because by the time you're communicating it, you already understand why is it I am communicating.
Yeah. I know why I cannot do this.
Why I cannot do this thing. So I will not allow somebody to push me in a way that now I have to go against my boundary and do the very thing that I had said I'm not going to do. Over time, people will learn.
How easy is that in a dating or marriage relationship?
It is not easy. But you need to teach yourself to be firm.
Hey. Kuna class ya people wanakujanga both broken, traumatized into your nini, so that we say, husband, don't push me, I won't push you. Because I almost feel like, even in when we say premarital counseling, I don't even know if they tell them to understand their traumas.
I don't think they go that deep. And actually, I think one of the things that people should learn and address before they get into relationships is your family of origin dynamics, childhood traumas, parental wounds. That is something every person needs to understand and to heal, because they are going to manifest.
Yeah.
That's one of the spaces where it's unforgiving.
Yeah, and very unforgiving.
It's very unforgiving. It will not allow that to just pass. No, that relationship is likely going to bring all that up. Yes.
The pressure. But we're here to learn, and this is why Ruth is with us today, because a lot of adults, myself included, we feel so much pressure. We feel like our family caused us harm, but we can't express it. Now, a lot of times forgiving those things that were done to us as children, because I can tell you, every time I bring up what I perceived, because again, my trauma is based on what I understood was happening to me. My mother always says I go to tell people bad things about her. This episode notwithstanding, she's going to say that.
Yeah.
And she always says I say bad things. I paint her as a very bad person. Why do I keep doing that? Because she refuses to see that what I am expressing is something that hurt me, and she can't say that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, she's a baby boomer. She's from a different generation where they don't speak.
Yeah.
But how do I then, or a person who's going through this parental trauma, is now understanding this is my trauma and I want to heal? How do I translate forgiveness? And it doesn't mean I'm saying I've forgotten. What does that mean to me? Especially, of course, parents, relatives who just won't acknowledge that pain. How do I deal with that?
I want to, first of all, ladies, forgiveness is a journey.
Okay.
Forgiveness is a journey. Don't push, because some of us imagine forgiveness is where you're moving from the incidents into the forgiveness in record time.
Yeah.
You say, I've forgiven this person, I've let them go, because that's socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that forgiveness is a journey. And forgiveness entails you letting go of the expectations you had from this person.
I like that
and
word.
That's normally the hardest part.
Expectations.
Yes.
Because that's the problem. What we expected.
Versus
what we got.
Yes, it's the ideal versus reality.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, the parental wound conversation, and this is why it becomes a bit hard, requires you to face truth about somebody you should be honoring and loving, somebody you should be holding in high esteem. And now the things you are discovering are like,
how do I esteem this person?
How do I esteem this person? Okay. So the forgiveness journey also involves you, like acknowledging that human beings have limitations, intellectual limitations, emotional limitations. They have no capacity. Your mother, for example, did not have the capacity or does not have the capacity, unless she grows it, to hold you as her daughter the way you would want your mother to hold you.
Yeah.
It's lack of capacity.
Okay.
The moment you start to see people as lack of capacity, I normally ask someone, so that you are able to manage your expectations.
Yeah.
How much cow feed, dairy meal, do you need to give a chicken for it to give you milk?
it is never going to give you.
It's completely impossible.
Yeah, it is a chicken.
It's a chicken.
It doesn't need cow feed. It doesn't give milk.
Give milk even if you feed it on cow feed throughout and throughout.
Yes.
So the moment you realize that, because our parents are also humans, that is part of what we do in our healing journeys. I want you to see your mother where she came from, how that affected her, because you only give what you have, because our parents are also human. So some of the expectations we have of them, and we rightfully have them. I'm not saying it's wrong to have those expectations, but they may not have capacity. So when somebody does not have capacity, and then you keep pounding in, I want, really, they will say you are problematic.
Right.
Because they are giving you everything they know how. Whether that thing is a good thing or not is not the conversation here. But according to them, if they've asked, I have done this for you, I have done that for you, I have done, and the list becomes endless. And you get invalidated in the process.
Right.
So the moment you understand the people you are dealing with, mother, sibling, father, whatever, and their capacities or lack of it, then can you let go of those expectations that they cannot meet? Go and have your needs met elsewhere. Meet those needs for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we have a lot to learn, and it's not an easy journey.
Yes.
But it is possible for us to grow ourselves into that capacity.
Yes.
So here I am. I recognize the trauma I went through. I am able to identify it. I think it came loudest to me the day I was put to task to speak about it on a stage and share the journey.
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mother my kryptonite. Because she's the only person who can say something that will trigger me. Like, if she doesn't approve of something I'm doing and she voices it, it really breaks me, Yeah. So that is definitely your kryptonite, because she can say one word and it changes everything, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times people who recognize that trauma, but you still feel stuck because you don't know where to start. What are some of the first steps towards rewriting your story? Because there's always a place I need to say, now you are grown. You can't keep saying this is the problem. You need to now come out of it and say, I know it is, but it's not my truth and it's not my future. Yeah, which is what healing is all about, right? So how do I get the help? How do I stay hopeful through this healing journey? Because, like you said, I need to identify my triggers. I need to let people in to know that this is what happens and why sometimes I respond the way I do. Yeah. But I also need to be able to be taking a step to becoming better. I can't just keep saying, this is it, this is it, this is it.
Yes.
How do I?
That is becoming irresponsible.
Yes. You're just declaring it, but you're not doing anything.
Yes. I think the first part, I'm happy you say, is always awareness. I want to insist that, because you can't heal that which you are not aware. The moment you are aware that my trauma comes from this and this space, look for a therapist, look for a coach, look for a mental health professional who has training in that specific area, because also childhood trauma can come in many forms. Yeah. Because when you're talking about parental wounding, unfortunately, I've even heard stories of where women went through sexual abuse in the hands of their fathers. Yeah. It's deep. It's very deep. You will need to get to someone, a professional who has the training in that area. Because seeking help from a professional who also doesn't have experience and training in that area can be more detrimental than what is already presenting. Yeah. Then the moment you do that, the journey is tough. And I always say the journey, the parental wound healing journey is for the people who are tired. Tired of how their lives look like, tired of getting stuck. Yeah, and repeating the sequence. Repeating the same patterns over and over, going in your 30s, your 40s, blah, blah, blah. And then the patterns are the same. So just get very tired. Then seek for help. It's a tough journey. I won't deny. There are days when it will be hard, there are days when it will be easy. There are tools that can help you walk the hard days. Okay. Survive the hard days. Okay. The beauty is that the more you heal, the better it gets. Yeah. It's like laying a foundation and then you keep building and building on it. And join communities. Communities of people who have been through a journey like yours, a similar journey. Where can we find these communities, surely, Ruth? Because, and then, the other thing is finding a community where I'll be safe. As myself, for example, I'm Kalekye Mumo. Hey, kumbe even do Kalekye. Hey, come on.
And I'm like, I'm only human, guys.
Yes. So you may need to get a community. That's why I talked about working with coaches and therapists.
Okay.
Identify somebody who has capacity to hold Kalekye.
Yeah.
Because again, you don't want to find yourself in spaces where Kalekye and people see you, they're like, hey.
And there are some people who, I think I've done this, coach, I've gone through some of the therapy, but the therapist was in awe of, wow. So now she's in awe of me, so she's not helping me. And I'm like, come on. I came to someone who I wanted not to, one, look at me as a celebrity, not to view me as wow, but to actually view me as, you're a human being and this is what you're going through. It's a really tough journey to find the right person. I mean, in that space of finding the right person, then how will I know I'm truly healing? Because you see, in that instance, I kept feeling, why do I feel like I'm not sure whether this thing I'm doing is giving me back the value that it's supposed to give me? How will I know if I'm truly healing?
Internal conversation. Ask yourself, am I truly happy?
Okay.
That is one of the indicators that you're truly healing. Am I able to show up as my authentic self?
Okay.
Not the person that steps into the studio, not the person. The person you are when you're driving home, the person you are in your house by yourself. Are you truly happy? Are you truly living an authentic life?
Okay.
Is there a reduction in symptoms?
That I've been carrying all these years.
All the things that have been manifesting, are the triggers less? Are you able to show up more? Are you able to speak up for yourself? Are you less triggered, for example? The other thing is, are you managing the triggers better? That you saw it coming and you are like, oh, Kalekye, this here, it comes. Stop. Breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
It's okay, you are now a grown girl. Because the moment you start to be able to do that, then that tells you are actually growing.
Okay.
And then, are you able to set healthy working boundaries? Where you're able to deal with the guilt. Sometimes boundary setting comes with a lot of guilt. Are you able to sit out that guilt and go like, yeah, I know I'm feeling guilty, but I set the boundary.
I'm not moving. I am not budging.
Yes.
And
I am not budging here. I know what I'm doing. So what it's
all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm not moving.
And finally, are you able to manage your expectations towards the person? I've seen people walk around saying, oh, I've forgiven my mother. And then they're like, Ruth, my mother called me yesterday. She sent me a voice note and she's all over the place. You have not healed.
Because now you've been scattered into action.
Scattered. Because I told you forgiveness requires you see the person for who they are versus their limitations and you embrace them. Such that even if they wake up tomorrow and say something, you're like, oh, that is my mother.
And you are okay.
And you are okay with it.
All right.
Not that you are justifying what she has done, but it doesn't scatter you and throw you all over the place. But if every time somebody that person says something or does something,
and it moves
scatters you,
you're not yet there.
Ujapona. You're not there yet.
So tell me about your courses, because it looks like we need to sign up. And when are we signing up?
Yes, we are actually registering for, I run a 12 weeks program for women to help them deal with adverse childhood experiences.
Okay.
The beauty about that program is that we address the problem from the root. We go into childhood, we go into home. And more importantly, we go into the core beliefs, because the core beliefs are what dictates what we are seeing, is what dictates everything. Then the moment we see what core beliefs you are, then we put out tools. I have a whole toolbox. So this is what you're dealing with. This is what we need to do to address the core belief and to help create a safe internal space. Because many people that have childhood trauma, parental wounding, our inside here is very chaotic, just that we don't know. So how do we create that space? Because it is from that safe internal environment that we are able to interact with the world. And then we do forgiveness, we address anger, we are going to address boundary setting, how to detach, and more importantly also, how to silence the inner critic.
Yeah, because that person called critic.
Yes, that person critic wakes up with you every day.
Loud.
Yes.
Loud.
Yes.
So it's a 12-week program. What's the program name? How do we register?
It's called the Queen's Inner Circle. Okay. It's a community also, the community aspect that I've talked about. Okay. So it's a group coaching program. 12 weeks, we meet once a week online. For those who are interested in registering, they can get in touch with me. 0115-288-162.
Okay, we'll put the number on the screen as well to make sure that they can get in touch. Yes. How much is the course?
Let them book a discovery call. Okay. And then we'll see whether
they good. Okay. Fit. So you discover first to see where they are and what they need. That's really
I work
good.
with a certain kind of woman. There's a certain mindset that
needs
works
to be.
That needs to be in place.
Okay, for you to start the journey.
Yes.
I like that. That it's well thought out. It's not just, I want to take your money. I actually need you to be at the point where you're ready.
Where you are ready for these conversations, because they are difficult conversations that we have there.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? If you're not ready for these conversations, then
it won't work.
It won't work. And I don't want you to just come through my program for the sake of coming through. I want to see the shift.
Come on. This is it.
That shift that happens.
It must work.
It has to work.
Yeah.
After the 12 weeks, the shift that happens for me is like, oh yes, Lord, I have done.
You have done what you told me to do.
What you told
That's
me
when
to
you're
do.
told, Lord, if you called me now,
oh yes,
it is well.
You will tell me, good and faithful servant, true. You have done well.
I think that's so important, because a lot of times people are afraid to take courses because they think the coach or the teacher doesn't care.
Yeah.
But if there's an element of care that I'm not just taking your money for the sake of, you really have to be ready, and you have to be at a point where you can do this. Because 12 weeks is not a joke.
It's not a joke.
You will have dug and dug.
It's intense.
Na kuna assignment.
Pia, I'm telling you, every week, after every lesson, every week, there is an assignment, and I will follow up with you.
You must do it.
Because I also want to know where you're struggling and how you're coming along.
How can we also get your book? That is also of interest to our viewers.
My book is called Hidden Abuse.
Yeah.
It is online. If you go to my website, Ruth Waithira, there's a link that takes you to the book. But if you also want to talk to me, I can see how you can get the book. The book. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you sell it online?
Yes, I sell it online.
Oh, how much is that?
There's a physical core book for 1,300. Yeah. And then there is an ebook.
An ebook
1,000.
for 1,000.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ruth, I could keep you here forever, because I feel like there's so much more that we can get out, but we will look for Soul Clinic, and I definitely will come through and see how I can sign up, because I think I'm so tired. I am tired, and I can't keep going through the cycles. That one I refuse, and I will not carry it to the next generation.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us navigate our parental trauma. We've had a whole season talking about it.
Yes.
And I know that our viewers have gained a lot from you.
Yeah.
So guys, if you are looking for Ruth Waithira, we're going to put her details for the website. You can check her out over there. And even as we wrap up this particular season of parental trauma and dating relationships, I want to leave you with this in your mind. You are definitely not defined by the pain you grew up with, but you can choose what comes next by deciding that you would like to heal. And it's a decision that many try for but don't do. But if anything, any of the stories here, you could connect, relate, and see that this is you we're talking about, please do get in touch with Ruth Waithira. Let her help you, let her guide you, and let that place of healing start for you. Choose relationships that honor you. Choose love that feels safe, and always choose you, because you are the only thing that, determines how people are going to treat you. And remember, you can always let us know if you'd like to be part of our show, if you'd like to be a guest, if you have any comments, conversationswithkalekye@gmail.com. Follow us on our socials at Conversations with Kalekye. This is Conversations with Kalekye, where love finds a voice, finds healing, and we are closing up 2025. And as we do so, we want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. Remember, the reason for the season is Jesus, and that is what we stand by here. And so as you go forth into the new year, come back with a heart that is ready to learn, because that's what we are all about. From all of us, happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2026. Take care.
Thank you.